Find the slope of this equation. Well, that means we're going to want to put it into slope-intercept form. That's the easiest way. So I'm going to begin by moving the x's to the right, keep the negative 3y on the left, subtract the 5x off on each side. We're going to have negative 5x plus 11. Then I'm going to divide through by negative 3, and we're going to have y equals positive 5/3 x minus 11/3. So right there we can see y equals mx plus b. M is equal to 5/3 the slope of the equation. Now I'm asking you to find the slope between these two given points. I will label these 2 points x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. And hopefully you remember the slope formula. M is equal to the difference of the y's divided by the difference of the x's. So in the numerator I'm going to have 5 minus 7, and in the denominator I'm going to have 2 minus negative 1. So this is going to equal negative 2/3 as the value of that slope. Okay, continuing on to problem number 10. Find the equation of the line which runs through this point and is perpendicular to this line. Whenever I see the word perpendicular, I'm thinking to use the negative reciprocal of the given slope. So instead of 4/7, we're going to use m equals negative 7/4 along with the point negative 4, 1. So I've got a point and a slope, so I'm going to use the point slope formula, which you have here. And so my point negative 4, 1 will be the x1, y1. So I'm going to have y minus the 1 equals m, the negative 7/4 we're using, times x minus a negative 4, which really turns into plus 4. And then I probably want to have this in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to distribute the negative 7/4 on each side of the equation, and that will give us y minus 1 equals negative 7/4 x minus 7, because the 4's are going to cancel each other out. Finally, adding 1 to each side of the equation gives us y equals negative 7/4 x minus 6. We have a graphing problem, and even though it's not shouting out to us that we're going to have shading because of the inequality, we will. We start by graphing the y-intercept up there at 4. We have a slope of negative 2/3, so we go down 2 and over 3. That gives us 2 points through which our line will run. And so there we have it. And the less than says to shade below that line. Now, as a test point, I'm going to try the origin 0, 0 and verify that when I substitute 0 in, I get 0 less than 0 plus 4, which is a true statement, and I did shade on the proper side of that line. We now solve this equation. I don't see any exponents, so I begin by doing some distribution to get rid of those parentheses. That gives us 20 minus 3 minus 4x less than or equal to 2x minus 14 plus 1. I'm going to clean up each side first by combining some like terms. That gives us 17 minus 4x less than or equal to 2x minus 13. I'm going to choose to move all my x's to the left, subtracting 2x on each side. So the left side will be 17 minus 6x less than or equal to negative 13. Now we want the x's by themselves, so we're going to subtract 17 on each side. That will give us negative 6x less than or equal to negative 30. And whenever we divide each side of the inequality through by a negative, we change the direction of the inequality around. So be very careful right there in the center of the problem that you switch that from a less than or equal to a greater than or equal to. problem number 13, 5 to the negative second. That is going to become 1 over 5 to the positive second, which becomes 1 over 25. In this second problem, or number 14 I should say, I'm going to work inside the parentheses first. There's not much to do except for that negative exponent. I'm going to rewrite this as negative 4x to the third over y to the positive second, and then I've got that negative 2 exponent outside. When I shower that negative 2 exponent in, everything inside will have a negative exponent, which means everything inside will have to trade places. So instead, what I'm going to do is just use up the negative and not the square, showering it inside. Everything inside is going to flip over. We're going to have y squared in the numerator and negative 4x cubed down below, and that still is going to be squared. Now I can do my squaring and get y to the fourth on top. Negative 4 when squared is positive 16, and when you raise a power to a power you multiply and we get x to the sixth. Use the commutative property. That's the one that says I can move the numbers around when I am adding. So 8 plus 7 becomes 7 plus 8. The associative property says I'm going to change the grouping. So instead of grouping the C and the E, I'm going to group the A and the C together, then multiply it by E. Notice the order of those letters did not change. And in number 17, it looks like we're adding an opposite, and so that is the additive inverse property.